All right, lovely. So we're gonna go into some of the static stretches, some of the parts and the areas of the body, lengthening and contracting. Go over that real quick. But then obviously I want you to take your time and then go through this video and on your static stretches, really go into it about 45 seconds at least, holding the stretch. If you feel like you need to stay in there longer, then stay in there longer. It has to be, I want you to become a body scientist, right? So really go into all aspects of your body and see where you have different pains or aches and stuff like that, and or different areas where you're weak, right? And be aware of that, write those areas down, and then start making your own little program so you're focusing more on these specific areas, okay? So let's just start from upward, right? Let's deal with the shoulders, right? So on your shoulders, you have three heads on your shoulders, right? You have the front right here, front deltoid. You have your lateral deltoid or medial deltoid. And then you have your rear deltoid, right back here. What we tend to do, we work out the complete shoulder as a compound movement. Normally when we're going into our kettlebells, let me get one real quick. We're going into different kettlebell movements, say even when we're going into our racked and press. So just that overhead press, that's allowing us to work the complete head of the shoulder instead of isolating the shoulder like you would if you were bodybuilding. If you're bodybuilding or something, you would just work front deltoids first, do 3 sets of 15 or 20 with that, then lateral deltoids, and then you do rear deltoids. So we don't work like that, we work the body as one. So that movement right there is to build muscle, strengthening the shoulder, right? So same way we're going through that movement, coming down and pressing up to go into our static stretch of that shoulder, would have the hand right above the shoulder, palm facing upward, and we'll take the opposite arm, go ahead and cup the back of the hand and press it up, lift it up, right? So holding that stretch. So I'm not gonna hold it that long now, but this is for you to stop, practice later on, and hold that stretch, 45 seconds on each side. So this is your static stretches. So now you wanna start thinking about it. Every time after we do a workout, you're gonna think about, okay, what muscles did I just work out, all right? Those muscles that I worked out, I'm gonna go into my static stretch for each muscle. So not just because you don't go into it with me, you're gonna start taking responsibility yourself. So yeah, we just did a whole bunch of things like this, so definitely this is what I need to go into after. So this is gonna ease that, what is it called? The DOMS later on. DOMS, D-O-M-S, delayed onset muscle soreness, right? Just that soreness that you go through, that you experience. If you don't go into your static stretches after, you're gonna experience more of that, about 48 hours or so after your workout, But don't let that be a reason that puts you off from training. So going into these static stretches are definitely something that you wanna do to stop you, stop you from just feeling put off from going into the workout again. And it does get better over time, So that was just shoulders, right? Now we're going into chest. Chest, when we're doing any press-ups, chest is gonna be pushing movement, right? So in a pushing movement, I'm working out pectoral major and pectoral minor, but as a primary muscle. But also, what other muscle am I working out? Do I have to work out in order to get the pushing movement going? Push. Another muscle. Give me a muscle. Yeah. Come on. You're feeling it. Triceps. So triceps right here, right? Back of the biceps. Here's the biceps. Here's your triceps. So triceps. So when we're doing our push-ups, primary muscle that we're dealing with is the chest. And then what also has to happen for the arms to straighten out, these triceps have to go into extension to press. So I was explaining earlier that even in a push-up, It's easy to think that the whole movement of the push-up should just be to just straighten up your arms. You're just focusing on straightening your arms. But I want you to start thinking about getting the activation on the particular muscle, all right? An activation, contracting the muscle. So it's easy to straighten up the arms without anything happening here in the chest at all. But at the top of the movement, you want to squeeze the pecs together. So I could straighten my arms without having any activation in my chest at all. So at the top of the movement, boom, squeeze the chest. So you see the difference, just relax. Now this is me squeezing it together. All right? So same thing, press, squeeze. Sorry, extend and squeeze. Extend and squeeze. Let's go ahead and try 3 of those real quick. So we're going to do these ones that we come all the way down. So just watch me real quick. So I point my feet and I extend my arms, relax my head. And then I bring my hands back in line with my chest, plant my toes, straighten out my legs by lifting up my knees, press up. As I exhale, as I press, and I squeeze my pecs and come back down. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Let me see if I can show them. Nice, nice, nice. Extend those arms, point the feet. And press up again. Exhale as you press up. Lift those hips away from the ground. Good. All right, that was cool. Taking a breather, okay. So did you feel that in your chest this time? Yes?
I got it, actually.
I think I did. All right. So we're just dealing with a contraction, right? Working out that area, activating that area. Like I said, it's easy just to go through the movements without even getting the activation or contracting muscles in the chest. So now, static stretch for the chest would be what? Place your hands on your lower back. You can do this whether kneeling like I am or standing. I'm just doing it this way because I don't have to adjust the camera view. And go ahead and draw your elbows closer together. Lift the chest slightly. Allow the shoulders to roll back. Keep the shoulders sinking down. Lovely. And once again, that would be held for 30 to 45 seconds. If you're doing it on a wall, let me show the wall. Emily, could you go behind the camera real quick? Make sure that I'm in the frame. So if you're doing it on a wall, you got to use the handle right there. Then you just want to place your hand. Place your hand onto the wall. Make sure the hand is in line with the shoulder, right? And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to rotate the opposite shoulder away from this arm. So I'm rotating the opposite direction. Keep the shoulder relaxed. So you don't want to just pull so quick or so sharp. Just gradually turn into it. You can feel the stretch. You feel everything just coming from that sternum, just from right here, just pulling all the muscle fibers, pulling that way. So once again, you always deal with it from like, range it, scale from 1 to 10. 1, oh, that stretch, I don't even feel anything in that stretch. So that's light and easy. But 10 being, oh, I'm in extreme pain. This hurts too much. So just get yourself in around a 6 to a 7. Just gradually work to it. And then when you get yourself there, say you reach a point that you really feel it, it's really tight, it's a 7 or an 8, back off a little bit, get back to a 6 or 7, and just hold it there. Breathe through that. Just take your time and breathe through. This is something that takes time. So you're taking 3, 4 breaths, then that number might start to drop down. That pain goes, that tightness leaves a little bit. It gets down to like a 1 or a 2, then turn a little bit more into it. Okay, now I go a little bit further. And this you keep working your way. The goal is not to just let me get all the way back. Like, nah, just go into it. You'll know when it's enough. You're like, okay, cool, that's enough. Done. All right. So that's just a static stretch for the chest. So you already know, without me even saying so, if you do any chest exercises after you complete the overall workout, then go into the static stretches. That's a given. Okay. So just dealing with the opposing muscle group, the back now. Back is going to be pulling. We're just focused on pushing. So to activate the back muscles, it's pulling. So if I'm dealing with pulling, what muscle groups am I dealing with? Like, if I'm dealing with a resistance movement and I'm pulling, I'm going to be doing what? So I already know that the primary muscle group I'm hitting is back, my rhomboids, scapulas getting to work, these things. But secondary is what? What do you feel is secondary? What's another muscle that's helping this movement to occur? Go ahead, say it. Biceps. So bicep is, you could already see it. As I'm pulling, you see my bicep contracting as I go back, as I draw my elbows as far back, behind my back as I can. Keep the chest lifted. So when I'm pulling, I'm just focused on squeezing my scapula together. So keep my shoulders down. I'm not hiking up my shoulders to my ears, but keep my shoulders down, and as I'm pulling back, I'm drawing my scapula together, squeezing right there, and holding for 1 count, and then releasing. So it's easy, once again, to just pull without even activating that area. But now if you're thinking each repetition at the top of the rep, I'm going to pull and activate, that's what I need to do. So let's see what that feels like. Let's go ahead and grab some kettlebells. Grab one. As we're just flowing through this, we just want it to be a nice lightweight right now, especially if this is your first time using it. I'm just using an 8 kilo right here. Just want to feel, I'm focusing on the contraction. So I'm going into a bent over position. My feet are hip width. I shift my hips back and I just hinge over, trying to still keep my back flat, right? So the kettlebell is just right underneath me. So my hands are in line with my shoulders and then the kettlebell underneath. Come down, I pick it up slightly off the ground, and what I'm just gonna do is bent over row. So I'm gonna roll the kettlebell straight to under my chest and back down. So at the top of the row, I think about drawing my elbows back and contracting that area I was just telling you, that middle portion of the back. So I exhale as I draw the kettlebell to my chest, and I'm thinking about squeezing that scapula. Draw those elbows together. Just have it turn around for me. Thank you. Slow the movement down. Emily, lean over a little more. Okay, let me see. Keep that going, Sabi. Are you squeezing here at the top of the movement? Yeah, not so much. Keep the shoulders down. Slow it down. Slow down the row. And drop. Squeeze. There you go. All right. That's cool. So, did we feel that? Yes, yes. All right, so that's how we activate that particular area, the back, So on that, that's a pulling. Any pulling movements, that's for the back. So even if you're doing pull-ups, whether it's overhead, it's in front of you, it's standing rows, it's bent over rows, same pulling movement, right? So stretching that area, a few different ways you can stretch it. Emily, you want to talk about it? Oh, well, you don't have the mic, let's not go into that. I'll say it for you. So, for the lats, putting the hand up and going into a side bend. For a side bend, you're going to be stretching out that particular lat. So make sure not to be twisting. Try to stay on the side and lean, keep the head in line. And at the same time, I'm pulling the hand, and I feel the stretch going all the way down through the side. You would hold that. I think it's easier to do it on your knees. You could do it standing as well if you feel more comfortable. Standing is going to be more challenging than it is on the knees. Okay, on both sides. So this is lats, really going into it. Lats, obliques, go straight sideline, we're going all the way down. So once again, you'd hold that for 30 to 45 seconds. Tell you just a few different things for the back. Back as well. For the back, we can come down into more of a kepara. Separate the hands, widen the shoulder width, spread the fingers. Exhale, move the hips all the way back, allow the head to drop. And I start to walk my fingers away from my body just until I really feel the stretch where I'm aiming for. So if you don't know where you should be feeling it, like you don't know what muscle that you're stretching out, then how do you know? Like, how do you know what you're doing? How do you know if you're even stretching that area? So it's good to know the area. Be aware of the area. So I know I'm stretching my upper back, so I want to continue to shift my hands around until I actually feel that upper back, me hitting that area. And then when I feel that I'm in that area, then I start to move my chest. I drop my head and I move my chest closer to the ground as I exhale. And then if I maybe have to lift my shoulders away from the ground a little bit to access a particular area, then I do. If I have to get a slight rotation through my torso somewhere to get another part of my upper back, then I do. All right. So let's go into the abs, abdominal area, the core section. Oh, let's go into one more. Let's go into one more for the upper back. You could go ahead and place the hands together, interlock the fingers, and you could just create more of an arch, making more of a C shape. Dropping the head, really rounding the shoulders towards the front. And you could just manipulate the shoulders till you actually feel that particular area in the upper back that you're stretching out. Right? It's another one. So all these are different stretches. Wherever you feel it the most, that's what you need to work on. Choose that one. You don't have to do all these stretches, but the one that you need, choose the tool, right? So going into the core, the abs, when we do any crunches, right? When we're bringing the upper body and lower body closer together. On the exhale, we're emptying. Let's see what let's go into some core exercises. Let's work that area out. So let's come down onto the ground. And we're going to do reach for the sky, all right? So we're going to have our arms in line with our ears, and we're just going to swing upright as you exhale. Let's go ahead. So you don't come up too high. Right here. Aim for my hand. Once you touch my hand, go back down. That's it. So we never want to come up too high, because if you come up too high, if you come all the way up, you're really taking the core out of it. You took the core out of it already. Right here, you keep it. Yeah, let's go. Keep going. Let's get about 6 more. Go ahead and break the arms back in line with the ears so you can swing up. That's also a good way to assist or spot yourself. And hold that. Or not.
You said 6.
What's that? Oh, don't worry about my counting. Okay, release. So now stretching out that area. So even when working out your abdominal area, keeping the belly soft, but as you exhale and as you bring the upper body closer to the lower body, that's when you want to actually contract the core, squeeze those muscles together, right? And then release, soften the belly. So it's so as I'm bringing the limbs closer together and I exhale, I'm exhaling, trying to empty myself, and at the same time contracting the muscles of the core. So that's what you're supposed to be doing. So here, contracting, then right? So we're going to practice that now. So let's come back down onto the ground. Let's go ahead and bring our arms. Let's go ahead and bend our arms. So our hands are about, or fists in line with the ears, about that. And we're going to exhale as we come up. So let's go. Hold that. You should be empty, squeezing the core, and then release. Let's go again. So exhaling out. Release. 3 more. Exhale. Let's go. Release. Last one. Hold. And release. All right. Yes? Felt that there? And stretching out that area. So a contraction wants to go this way. So stretching it out, I just want to go the opposite way. So an easy one, the easiest one that you could do, because sometimes people may have back issues, standing up, or balance issues as well, and they just want to come down to the ground, is bringing yourself up here into Adat, just lifting the chest away from the ground, right? So shoulders nice and wide, elbows pressing down, hands in line with the elbows. Fingers spread, shoulders sinking down, lifting the chest and the head. Raising the chin. We're gonna hold that for 45 seconds. I'm not gonna do that now, but when you practice this, hold it for 45 seconds. You can always just pause this video and just go through it yourself. And if you have that capability and you finish feeling the stretch here, this is already a 1 or 2 for you after your 45 seconds, and you want to come up more, you could come all the way up. Exhale, lift it more. Shoulders still pulling down. And you would hold here for another 45, all right? Okay. And shifting out of that, I lift my hips nice and high. So keep the hips in line with the knees, just about there. And lower the chest closer to the ground, creating a nice opening in that chest. And drop the head. So we're going into the chest, going to the upper back. We're going to the lower back as well. All right. Lovely. We could just sit back into into a kneeling position. So while we're here in this kneeling position, right here, this is an easy way for you to just go into the quads. Some of you, this may be uncomfortable for you, but if this is uncomfortable for you, just come up and down as you need to. But you do also want to get into some of that flexibility for the foot and the ankle, right? A lot of people's issues that start to travel upwards towards their back originate from their feet, you know? So just looking at how your feet are, and even just looking back at your feet and seeing what your feet are doing while you're sitting like this. Are they just dropping to the side, or do you have to just keep them in position and really just stretch out that front whole metatarsal area of the foot, right? So you could go here. This is great for not just the quads. And what do we work the quads out with? I know I'm skipping around, but quads is normally when you're doing your squats, your lunges, right? Your lunges, even though for us, our sumo squats and upright rows, you're hitting all these compound movements. You're hitting the quads. Yes, you're hitting the complete leg, but it's definitely going to be quad intense, right? So some people may need to start here, placing their toes down, curling their toes, and they'll be up higher. So you don't go into the quads that deep, or depending if you're tight or how tight you are. This might be enough for you. You know, when you're able to do this and go through it, the complete 45 seconds or even longer, and not feel any stretch and pain or pull here, then you could just come up, point the feet, and come all the way back down. This is going to be a more intense stretch, all right? Then for those that still don't feel anything there, you might be at just another range of flexibility and just cool and open with your legs, no tightness. Place your hands down, and you could bend your arms. You could be right here. That intensifies that stretch there. You could feel more of a pull coming all the way up into the groin. And then depending, you could come all the way down or not. It's just where you are, so work in your zone. All right? So once again, you hold that for 45 seconds. That's for the quads, right? We're at the quads. But if you come all the way back, then be sure to, after that, just come all the way forward. Just have a nice release in the back, dropping the head. So you're just working the area. Make sure you're working the area completely. So when you go through one complete or extreme range in one way, you go in the opposite way, you know? So just keeping a balance. Next, that was just for hips. Let me give you a few more just on quads as well, because those right there may not be comfortable for you at all, and I hear you. So if they're not, you could always lay down onto your stomach, and then you could just reach back, grab the left leg. If you're able to grab one leg with both hands, then go ahead. So we're just doing one at a time because one is easier. So you're just reaching back, you're grabbing it, and you're trying to pull the heel more towards the glutes. And trying to relax the shoulders and the arms. Keep the shoulders dropping away from the ears. So most importantly, you want to be feeling the stretch where on the quad. Keeping both knees close together. And release. So that's another way you could do it. Do the same for the other leg. Let's just go ahead and do it right now. Grabbing the right, pulling the heel in. And then you could go ahead and flex the foot as well. And pull the heel closer in. So all through these movements, it's a slow breath. It's a more meditative movement. You're just letting yourself go into it and really getting a release in that area and just breathing through it. If there's any discomfort, just breathe through it and just let that pain go through, because you're probably working into areas that you haven't worked in a while. So it is going to be uncomfortable at first. But the release, when you start getting there, however long it'll take you, maybe days or weeks, I don't know, it will be very beneficial. All right, go ahead and release it. And then, so I'll just show you the easiest version of it. You see other people, they may do it standing. That's fine, you could go into standing. But I just did the simplest one. So now if we're just dealing with the quad. The opposing muscle is what? You were pointing to your butt?
Gluteus maximus.
No. It's your hamstring.
I don't know what it is.
Well, you see quad here, hamstring here.
I always thought the hamstring was just the leg fit.
Oh, no, it's right here. All this back here is your hamstring. And then from here upward, this is your glute. So hamstring. Now we're stretching out the hamstrings. Stretching out hamstrings, easiest one, you can just go into a forward bend. So depending on your tightness again, you might want to start with your legs bent, and you just exhaling and just trying to bring your chest closer to your knees. This right here will be a good release for a lot of people with tight lower backs. So you're just trying to really empty the stomach. Allow the shoulders just to round in, relax the shoulders. So that emptying the stomach and me just still trying to maintain a certain length through the spine. I'm already feeling that just into the lower back. And for those that want to, you could hold on to the toes, and then you could straighten out one leg at a time, or you could release the hands down to the ground and just straighten out the legs. And you can stay right there. Try to soften up the arms. You don't have to overdo the stretch. You can breathe through it right here. You can always flex the feet as well and shoot the heels away from the body. Relaxing the head. All right. Yeah, it's cool for now. Once again, yes, stay in this longer. I'm just coming out of this right now just to get through it, really, because we have more to cover for the video. But yes, going it longer, especially if you are dealing with a lot of lower back issues and stuff like that, and the hamstring issues, tight hamstrings, yes. What else we got? Calves. Emily could go on to use the camera real quick. So for the calves, calf muscles, these little small muscles back here. So even though we don't focus on calves a lot of the time, that doesn't mean it's something that you should not focus on and be aware about, because you don't want the calf muscles being the issue that's preventing you from doing bigger movement, like lunges or your yoga movements or whatever else it is. So let's just also work on this area, and still just your day-to-day functionality of just moving and walking around. So also let me say for the women out there that wear a lot of high heel shoes and stuff like that, what are you doing with those high heel shoes? You're constantly staying in activation, right? Keeping that calf activated. So that calf may be so tight from constantly being activated all the time, or for whatever the case, your work day, 8-9 hours, or however long you wear it. So you want to think about strength, lengthening out those calf muscles as well. And something that the foot, when you're dealing with reflexology, holistic living, reflexology, the foot is what? The foot has a lot of the energy centers that correspond to different parts of the body, all there in the foot. So think of that foot like a control center. So imagine keeping particular things activated that shouldn't be activated all the time. Like you're just keeping that button pressed when it's just meant to just, do you know what I'm saying? Everything works in a particular harmony. So just want to really vary, like don't wear the high heel shoes all the time, like really just give your foot some rest, give your foot some care, massage those calves, get deeper into the calves, you know? So for the calves, you can go ahead and use a wall. I see a lot of people pressing on the wall, like they're trying to push the wall or something like that, but it's just placing your hands on the wall. So for me, I'm going ahead and stepping forward with my left foot, right foot is behind me. So I'm extending my leg and I'm pressing my heel down, even pressing my heel away, but I'm not bringing my heel all the way down, just until I feel it in my calf. So if you have to move your foot around until you feel it there, go ahead and get there. And once I feel the calf, okay, I'm here. The calf is just completely lengthened. I'm just holding there so I can actually feel it, right? So you want to step your foot more forward, that front foot. Step the front foot more forward. Yep. Until you feel it. Okay. Yeah. So that's for the calf muscles. We did calves, we did quads. Let's go ahead and let's go do some glutes. Let me have Savvy. Come, show me how to do, what's the static stretch for glutes?
Standing stretch.
Static stretch.
Static stretch.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's the static stretch for glutes?
What do you think? Where's your glute?
Okay.
How do you think you stretch that area? If you had to just think about it like, okay, not working it out, but I need to stretch that area.
Does it come down?
I don't know. Tell me what you feel. Do it. Do something. See what you feel. Try to feel it in your body. See where you go. Do you feel that hitting your glute?
Well, I can feel it all the way from my hamstrings.
Okay, hamstrings. Okay, not the glutes.
Not the glutes.
Okay. All right, let's do this. Let's come down onto your back.
Onto the back.
Mm-hmm. Keep your legs bent.
Yep.
All right, lay down. All right, let's go ahead and bring your left foot over onto your right thigh. Okay, there you go. There. So under may be easy for someone and for a lot of people, and that might be all you could do. You know, that's all you have access to. But if you are able to, then try to place your hands over the top. So be out of the way, over the top, and you could get more of a pull. Right? So the whole idea is you want to try to pull the knee closer towards the chest. This way, bend the arms, get more of a bend in the arms, and you start stretching that glute more. So if your left foot is on your right thigh, you're going to be stretching the left glute, all right? And you to hold that, you make sure that the shoulders just stay relaxed. So you don't want to be releasing yourself in one area but creating tension in another, all right? Lovely. I know she only did that for like 5 seconds, but it's just for the video. It's just for the video. Thank you for putting your effort into that, Savvy. Like, I could see that you're really trying over here. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. And if you don't have anyone to force themselves down onto you like what's happening here, then you could use a wall. So I'm not gonna shift her around, but imagine if I was a wall, she would place her foot on me, on the wall, and then she would push. Go ahead and push. More. Yeah, that was great. That was great. Thank you. Thank you for your demonstration. Get off my mat. That was not rehearsed. Couldn't be. So that was just the glute. I think we hit everything, right? Yes? We did calves, yep. We talked about the bottom of the feet, yep. Flexing, pointing, flexing, yep. We did quads, we did hamstrings, we did glutes, we did abs, yep. We did chest, we did back, we did shoulders, biceps. Biceps, right? I don't think we did biceps. Okay, so biceps. Oh yeah, you know, my biceps. I'm not, whatever, I don't care. Yes, biceps. So we're well aware, I'm sure it was well aware how to work out the biceps, yes. You know, us with the kettlebells, I keep going back to the kettlebells because that's what we use. I use any other weights, kettlebells is it. So with the kettlebells, this is biceps. So you can see the activation in the bicep, all right? So when lower arm comes towards the upper arm, but always keeping that elbow locked into the side when you're doing it, right? So our bicep curls. Let's go ahead into it. Let's go ahead and get 8. 8 might be a good amount. Okay. They're all right. Let's get 8 on each side, just feel that out. So I want to make sure that you're not like lifting up the elbow away from your torso when you're doing it. You're not doing this, you're not doing any of that. We're going from right here, and there. So yeah, I'm getting a rotation in it. So I'm holding the kettlebell semi-loose right here, and then rotating as I come up, squeezing. That's okay, that's another thing, that's right. Contracting that bicep at the top. At the top of the movement, you really want to contract, squeeze it, 1 count, and then come back down, right? So contract, squeeze it, 1 count, come back down. All right. So go ahead and finish your round, your reps. You do 8 and 8, practicing squeezing that particular area, squeezing at the top. Feel that contraction there. And for the static stretch for that is you're gonna have your arm extended, hand facing downward, so your palm is extended out, and just take the other arm, place on that fleshy part of the hand, center of the palm, and pull back a little bit. So I'm just lengthening the bicep there. So I'm just pulling that open more. So the static stretch is always just basically you're just going in the opposite direction of the contraction. And you'll be holding that 45 seconds. Do keep the hand in line with the shoulder. Don't just have it dropped here, over here, so we get complete stretch into it. And then you do the same thing for the next side. Let's see, I'm carrying on. You get it. All right, so that's static stretch for the biceps. So opposite or opposing muscle is what? Triceps. Triceps. I don't think we did triceps. I don't think I did triceps, but anyway, I don't really remember. This is not scripted. So if I did, we're doing it again, because I don't remember. So, triceps. So this is your tricep right here. Back. Bicep, tricep. So tricep right here. So tricep, things like pull downs. You know, if you have resistance bands, you could always place your resistance bands on something higher over a door, and you could just pull down. Rather use resistance bands than any of the crap that they have in the gym. You know, so you could just put the resistance bands over a door and just pull them down. Do your pull downs, or you could even do them behind you. You could step on the resistance bands, pull it behind you, and then go overhead. Whether you want to bow it out this way, or you want to do here. If you keep your arms straight like this, you're actually hitting the direct back of the arm right here. So a slightly different place in the bicep. Forgot what this is called. but whatever, some Latin crap, or I don't know. But yeah, so that is if we're doing a lot of overhead things, tricep extensions, or even if we're just doing like the chest extensions and we're coming up and we're down here. And we're just down and we're lifting up. We're hitting triceps here. But if we're doing a real close chest press, where my elbows are literally rubbing on the side of my torso, and I'm coming up, and I'm keeping out my arm as close as I can. I'm hitting triceps right there as well. Or as well, if you're on a chair, or you don't have a chair, if I have to do with the body, it's all right. So if I have to go more into here, and I'm down and then up, right? Yeah, so it's not with the hips, it's more with the arms. So the arms bending and arms straightened. It's just a light bend. That's why I like it better on a chair. If you're using a chair, you could place your hands right on the chair and then come all the way down. On kettlebells as well, sometimes I do it with the kettlebells. It does require more balance. You place the kettlebells just on the outside of you, and then make sure that that hand is in line with the wrist and press down. Lift away from the ground, keep the arms straight, chest up, and come down, engage the core, and press up. If you don't keep the chain together at any point, then that hand will just collapse. So yeah, it does require a lot of focus. So it could easily fall over, but it's all part of it. But yeah, a few ways to go into the tricep. And for your tricep stretch, static stretch, raise the arm up, and then just place a hand behind you. So I'm right here. So front view, I'm gonna use my other hand, place it on my elbow, and pull my elbow closer to my head. I'm trying to reach my hand further down towards the middle of my back, right? And I'm just holding that. It's 45 seconds right there. Yep, you can go ahead and switch. But yeah, that's it on your static stretches. So now you have that, all right? So you already have the dynamic warm-up. You know, you could always go and do that first, and then you have your static stretches. Static stretches are what you do after the session is over, right? And you don't have to go through all the static stretches. You could just pick the areas that you feel that you need to work on, or pick the muscles that you actually worked. Because some days you might just, I don't know, if you're working out by yourself, you might just do legs. And if you do legs, there's no reason for you to go into a static stretch of your shoulder, you know what I mean? Or anything like that. Just stick with legs and do the hamstrings, do the quads, hamstring quads, do the calves. Or, one thing I left out with the legs, for the adductors, you just pull yourself into a butterfly, right? Pull the heels together, soles of the feet together, draw the heels into the groin, and try to move the knees closer to the ground. And while you're doing this, you're just keeping your shoulders relaxed. You just keep trying to draw your knees closer to the ground. If you start to experience pain on the inner thighs, then don't draw them down anymore. Just hold right there. And just relax. Try to relax the best you can. And hold that for 45 seconds. If counting the seconds is not doable for you because you're just not able to do it, then set a little timer for you. You know, a little stopwatch, or whatever the case, every time you go into it. And then little by little, as you get deeper into particular areas, like you progress on, after whatever the case, a month or 2 months, then work yourself up to a minute, holding a minute stretches. But the longer that you hold the stretches, the more beneficial it is for you, right? And that's it.